Media meltdowns continue, and this time it is coming from the top-ranked host in the trio of huge embarrassing failures in late-night television. I guess you could refer to him as the first loser. I'm sure he'd rather have the title of First Lady, but his desired wife, Rachel Levine, failed to win the election. And speaking of the artist formerly known as Richard, who is soon to be fired from their position as Secretary of Health, where Rach did a phenomenal job these last 4 years ensuring that all aspiring women had access to adequate services and top-of-the-line physicians for that courageous removal of the cucumber. The hopeful replacement for Rachel Levine has the woke media going through another meltdown. The Trumper has selected Robert Kennedy Jr. as the replacement for the former Dick Levine. Now, this has caused unnecessary panic throughout the mainstream media. This is outrageous! This man was anti-Fauci. He was anti-vax. He's anti-Christ, anti-bacteria, antibiotic, antiperspirant. This bastard is anti. America is doomed! The media is pretending to be concerned with the potential placement of RFK as Secretary of Health. Believe it or not, I actually understand why the media is concerned. That doesn't mean I agree with it, which I obviously don't, but I can at least understand their concerns. You see, RFK is making it his personal mission to make America healthy again. There will be no more celebrations of body positivity. There will be no more forklift floats in the parade featuring the Lizzo and her plus size dancers. RFK wants to return America to the days where gluttony was the exception, not the norm. Now, if you're a deacon at Woke United Methodist or one of their pretend friends in the mainstream media, this represents a serious problem. This is no bueno. You see, when people live healthy lives, they live longer lives. When people eat healthy, they also tend to be more consistent with the boodle flute, which is great if you're one of the yentas on The View where you were paid for your flatulence. But healthy diets, healthy lives, that is a real problem if you believe that man controls the weather. The longer people live, the more they emit those dangerous carbon emissions. Every time they breathe, that pesky carbon dioxide floats through the air, encouraging the sun to spontaneously combust in any second. So, I understand why the media would take issue with Robert Kennedy becoming the Secretary of Health. And one of the leading voices in expressing those concerns, he went on a tirade last night where he attempted to be funny and informative at the same time. Unfortunately for Stephen Colbert, the only thing he convinced people of last night was that the demise of late night television, it is rapidly increasing. In the media, they will blame the format. The media will claim that the genre is antiquated. But like I have said countless times, the number one problem in late night television, it is the host. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's go ahead and get to the sponsor for today's video, Soul Dog USA. Even though the cat ladies at Woke United Methodist like to claim that Garfield is man's best friend, we all know that distinction actually belongs to dogs. You can do or say whatever the hell you want about me, but you can't do shit to my girls Chew and Oreo. My friends at Soul Dog USA, they feel the same way about their dogs. Soul Dog USA is an animal-loving, patriotic clothing brand. If you like the open road and enjoy your God-given American freedom, Soul Dog USA has the clothing apparel for you. They got patriotic hats, hoodies, shirts, and huggers for the patriotic adult beverage of your choice. So click the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL10. Save 10% off your first purchase with Soul Dog USA. The other day, I was having lunch with some of my friends, and one of them asked me what I was going to do now here on the channel that the Trumper was reelected. Over the past couple of years, a lot of my videos, a lot of my content, it is centered around the incompetence of Johnny B. Biden, then the incompetence of cackling Cam Harris, the woke fungus which used to be prevalent throughout mainstream sports media, with the Trumper reclaiming the White House and America rejecting a double dose of the woke fungus. What was I going to talk about going forward? How will I continue to produce 17, 18 videos every week? I told my friend, I said, have you seen the overreactions in the mainstream media? Have you seen these emotional meltdowns? I will never run out of content because these people, they will never stop providing me with material to make fun of them with. Case in point, what happened last night on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Last night, Steph threw a childish tantrum over the Trumpers selecting RFK. Steph tried to make a case as to why RFK is not qualified for the job. Now, ironically enough, he didn't make that same case 4 years ago when Rachel Levine was given the position. Strange. Let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Stephen Colbert had no issue with Johnny B. Biden giving this job to someone based solely on the fact that they chopped the cucumber. But Steph has a real problem with the Trumper giving it to RFK because, according to Steph, RFK is a conspiracy theorist. Now, how did Stephen Colbert make his case against RFK, the conspiracy theorist? By reciting conspiracy theories. Now, keep in mind, what I'm about to show you, this is supposed to be a monologue on a late night comedy show. Keyword, comedy. These same monologues by Jay Leno and David Letterman, it made them household names. Now, watch for yourself. And you tell me, what is funny about this clip? Also, you're gonna notice the audience laughing at these shitty jokes. Pay no attention to that. They were paid to be there. My inside sources tell me that Steph hired Cam Harris and her cackling choir to make it seem like these jokes were actually comedic. But watch it for yourself.
And he has chosen anti-vax Nepo maniac Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as Secretary of Health and Human Services. That sounds insane, but we should all keep an open mind, because that's how the worm gets in. You got to leave the fontanelle soft. It gets in through the fontanelle. RFK Jr. is now in charge of our health. Exactly what everyone voted for. Surely this will lower the price of eggs.
Are you starting to understand why I say the biggest problem in late night is the host? Earlier today, I was reading an article in Fortune magazine and they were talking about the demise of late night television. One of their solutions to the problem was for the networks to hire younger hosts. Now, to their credit, that would be a step in the right direction, but age is not the problem here. Leno and Letterman, they were in their 60s and 70s and they were still drawing good ratings. Hiring younger hosts, that is a good first step, but you gotta hire the right host. You gotta hire hosts that relate with normal people. Because right now, there is not a single host in late night television that normal people can relate to, which is why their ratings are in the pooper. Right now, with an average of 2.3 million viewers, Stephen Colbert is the #1 host in late night. Celebrate the butt bungo! This is great! Woo! Yes, yes, yes! Don't pound that bongo just yet because there's no reason to celebrate. The first loser has seen his ratings decline by 32% in the last couple of years. Now, sure, Steph is outperforming the two Jims. Jim Kimmel's averaging 1.7 million, while Jim Fallon has successfully melted all the polish off the Tonight Show turd, dropping NBC's ratings down to a cool 1.2 million. Well, KC, what about Seth Meyers? Who? Sean? Sean Squires? The dude that owns Oscar Squires, the brand famous for their top shelf wiener? That guy? Since you asked, Sean has managed to tank ratings under 1 million viewers. And to make matters worse, advertising revenue, how they make money, ad revenue across late night, it has declined again. Last report I saw, ad revenue in late night television had declined almost 70% in the last 10 years. This trio of huge embarrassing failures, they saw that 70% decline and they just knew they could do better. So they decided to add an additional 10% to their decline in revenue. According to Fortune magazine, the genre of late night, it went from being one of the most profitable genres for the broadcast networks to barely breaking even. Hell, some of these shows are losing money. Last year, CBS booked James Corden a third-class ticket on the Greyhound. They sent his ass back to England because Jamie C., he was losing the network $20 million a year. One show in late night was costing CBS $20 million a year. I'm sure you guys haven't noticed because most of you are not watching late night television, but revenue has fallen so drastically. All three networks, they have reduced their schedules. New episodes are no longer being produced 5 nights a week. Every network is down to a 4-day work week. Can some of this decline be blamed on competition from podcasts, competition from YouTube, social media? Sure. Can some of this decline be blamed on late night having an antiquated format? I mean, maybe. Is it the age of the host? Are they too old? Is it cord cutting? Have too many people abandoned linear television and they just no longer have access to local channels? I mean, you could come up with a litany of reasons as to why late night television is struggling. But the main problem has always been the same. The host. Over the last 4 years, there have been numerous studies done in late night television. I know MRC has conducted several studies analyzing the jokes, analyzing the guests that are booked on the show. I don't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head, but something like 80, 85, 90% of the jokes that are told in late night, they are making fun of conservatives. 90% of the guests, they are proud deacons at Woke United Methodist, which means these hosts have alienated damn near the entire country. I can no longer call it half the country because the vast majority of the country voted for the Trumper. For the past 8 years, this trio of huge embarrassing failures, this trio of out-of-touch hosts, they have alienated the average American. Is it any wonder why people aren't watching? It is going to be interesting to see what the networks do with the genre of late night television. I know one thing for certain, though. They cannot continue down this current path. This is not sustainable. They can't continue breaking even or losing money, producing a polished turd that most people have no desire to smell. But give me your thoughts on this. Stephen Colbert has another meltdown because the Trumpers selected RFK for Secretary of Health. Ad revenue has declined by another 10%, with late night shows either losing money or barely breaking even. How long will this be sustainable? How long can this go on before the networks either replace the host or cancel late night altogether? You tell me. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.